$40.60 for a fruit tray.
That's everything. That's $108 worth of groceries.
See what happens when you charge $32 for a steak? You get nobody buying it. Take a look at all these brown ones. Yeah, expired.
Can you guess how much is this? This is $101.88.
And if you think those are isolated, they're not. There's hundreds of those videos around of people complaining about how expensive food is. And I know many of you watching this channel have put so many comments below the video saying the exact same thing. I can't believe I paid this much for this, unbelievable prices for that. And it just keeps going up and up. Have you noticed that trend? Now we're really getting into the crop. Well, not even forecasting anymore. They're actually looking in the fields and saying, we're lean. We're 10, 20% down in certain wheat growing areas across the EU, areas in Asia that grow wheat like India and Pakistan down almost 10%. We got the US down, Australia down. So just food in general looks like it's getting more expensive. So if the trend continues, which I'm going to show you some slides or bring you a few more videos, it looks like this is going to amplify, especially when we come into when the harvest is and they really realize how much there's not. Although wheat prices fell just a little bit this week, but that little dip is going to come right back up again once we see what's not in the silos. So take a look at these two news articles right here. Increasing number of U.S. families took on debt, tapped savings to meet food needs. That is unacceptable. Many American families are struggling to make ends meet on their incomes alone and have resorted to credit cards, payday loans, buy now, pay later options for groceries, according to nonprofit research Center Institute. And this is a recipe for civil unrest right here. Go back through history in the last 500 or 1,000 years, and you see when there's not enough food and things get pricey. French Revolution's a great one. Let them eat cake. That's exactly the same. And the wealth distribution across the strata that we see is literally exactly the same as it was in France during that time. So I'm just saying, if you go back in history, when food gets expensive and people can't pay for that, they demand answers from politicians who obviously don't have any, especially ours right now with the graft and, hey, getting the paybacks, kickbacks, the backhanded deals, and you got lobbyists and everybody's kicking in money to vote a certain way for companies and corporations. And I get it. They're trying to make a bottom dollar. They're an entity. You're an individual. If we're at the point now where our country and we need to start putting food on a loan and a payday buyback and 4 installments so you can get your green beans, we are so precariously close to a massive civil unrest event. Now, the way it looks, I'll bring you some numbers here, but we're talking more than like a smidgen. They always try to make some of these news stories more grandiose than they are. If you look at the news, or it'll be a fire in one place and they're like, the whole place is burning, but it's really just an isolated incident. This does not seem to be isolated at all. Everywhere I'm looking is not isolated. It is everywhere around the world. Some places more intense than others. I encourage you to look at like Pakistan, Nigeria, places in East Africa that are already flared off just because of the food price. South Africa is another one. I'm not saying we're going the route of Nigeria and South Africa to become that poor so fast, but same, but different. Just because the numbers and the exchange rate are different, the mechanics remain the same. When people can't afford food and they were used to a certain lifestyle previously, they've gone, jumped the shark on it. There's no going back. Never has been in history. We're at it again here. So continuing the article here, the findings, and most important, based on survey from 18 to 64-year-olds, so, encompassing a wide demographic age range here, working age adults, not like unemployed. About 8.7% of adults said they used a credit card for groceries and were unable to make the minimum payment at the end of the month, which is depends, $30, $50, you can't even, this is getting outrageously scary. Feeling the heat, the exhaustion, the withering, being out in the heat. The summer returns once again. Time to rehydrate. We got hydration that works as hard as you do. Perform Light, got sodium, potassium, magnesium, superfood recovery blend, vitamin C. And as Victory Nutrition International would say, recharge, replenish, recover faster. And if you want to support this channel, support our advertisers. Fatigue-free summer, stay hydrated, Perform Light. Click on that link in the description box below. That's up from 2023. There really wasn't that much duress. And it jumped from 7.1 to 8.7 at December 2025. I know that number is way higher now because they call it worsening financial distress. So from 7.1 up to 8.7, and things were, you didn't really notice all these food price rises until this year. Now it's really starting to hit. So I would imagine that is well over 10% by now. Because if you go back a year and you go back to 2023, can you remember like food being this? I know it went up during COVID and it doubled in price from 2019 or even tripled in price. But do you remember people talking so much about food and putting up videos like anger videos all about it's too expensive, I can't afford it, I can't feed my family, can't do this and that. I just don't remember that. And suddenly there's this tidal wave in the last 3 to 4 months. So that number's increased.
Y'all must be out your ever-loving mind. Think you're going to charge people $7 for a single can of vegetables. Oh, I'm sorry. It's on sale for $6.59.
A new survey from debt relief firm Spergel finds in the past 6 months, just over 60% of respondents say they skip meals or reduce their portions. More than half say they use credit cards, loans, or lines of credit to pay for groceries. And about 40% say they delayed paying a bill to buy groceries.
See, this is a serious problem. You're skipping meals because you can't afford food. That only goes so far before people actually get angry because they're hungry. It is a fingerprint through history. When masses get hungry, governments topple. So I don't know what's going to happen in our country here. We grow a lot of food, but the Dust Bowl is reforming again. I looked at a drought index monitor and it showed 3 different overlaying drought indicators for long term that showed that we're coming back in. And it's the first time these 3 have overlaid on like moisture indices and this kind of, rainfall pattern, this jet stream movements, etc. The first time they've overlaid since like 1930. So if we're coming back into a Dust Bowl again, we can't produce as much food, then that's going to be a real problem because I want to bring you to the export markets that are cut off now. And skipping meals is not an option. That's not doable in the long term. Yeah, you might be able to do it for 1 to 2 weeks, a month to get by. You're going to have to cut your physical activity or whatever you do work-wise. You're not going to be efficient. You're just going to be tired and hungry all the time. Maybe you're going to want to help your farmer. You definitely, if you're at that point, you need to grow your own food or you need to go out and help some farmers on the weekend, volunteer some time to be able to get some fresh produce in. Because the lower you go on that purchase scale into the junkier and less nutritious foods, the tired, you're just going to get incredibly worn out. You're going to be always just wanting to sleep because you don't have enough nutrition. So this presents a huge problem. I mean, what percent of the population is already going to this? And that's in Canada too, and Australia. So, there's just no easy answer for any of this because we're at this rollover point where everything on the globe seems to be in contraction mode at the exact same time, including the work, the jobs, salaries, inflation's running, and then we got this food and it just war things intensifying, more cutoffs. It's just we never got what we needed to grow the food this year. It's going to be scrimpy when it comes in on harvest season. Oh, wait, I got you some numbers. For instance, wheat harvest taking a hit. They say it's going to fall to 30.8, but I've seen some numbers as low as 25 million. And with the triple heat dome that hit that place, they're including Germany. I didn't see them talking about Germany. There's a lot of places growing wheat, although Bulgaria and Romania had good wheat production this year. Problem is Black Sea wheat, there's ships getting blown up all over the place. Oil's cut off from Kazakhstan. Oil's cut off from Russia, the diesel we need. The loading ports to put the wheat in the boats to get them out of there. The only place that's really currently safe is down in Romania and Bulgaria. Nothing else. So those top 2, Russian and Ukrainian ports, they're not loading. They're barely able to grow anything this year in Ukraine. You see the state of ridiculousness over there. So this is another major issue is exporting. getting it out of there. So, everywhere you look, there's a small little cut off happening. And Pakistan, they don't grow enough to feed themselves. They're always importing. India as well. They need to import a lot of things. They don't grow enough. So it seems like, those world trade agreements, everybody's switching food across the planet, whatnot. And even though they have a record of 29.8 million tons, their rice was really down this year. So your numbers can tell you one thing. So the wheat looks good, but then if you look at the rice, they had record losses in rice. So then you get this balance out of like staple crops. Perhaps that's why they need to import more, because they're trying to make up for the losses from the rice. And if you look at this whole Black Sea thing, I don't know if it's going to resolve itself in time for getting food out into the market. And diesel, these refined products, everybody's smashing up refineries all over the planet. So less diesel out there, diesel prices up. Are we going to have enough diesel for this year's harvest season? I would hope so. But it seems like with everything focusing back in the Western Hemisphere, we're going to be the ones giving everybody diesel. I don't know. It's the world we're living in right now. It just doesn't seem to make sense unless you want to break it down and restart from the ashes into a new system. Then it makes total sense. Total sense. So let me bring you to the funds here. This is where the big money rolls. Euronext wheat and Black Sea disruption. That white line is people thinking the price is going to go up. And we are almost at the highest ever recorded. So what are they betting on here that they do think the price of European wheat is going to skyrocket, where they're all long on this here? That's another indicator. Follow the money. Don't follow what they say, follow what they do. And here you go. Russia wheat exports from seaports, dumper, orange line, 2026. That is so far below anything we've seen in the last handful of years. But when you start to add it up, everything seems to be, well, as forecast. Just things are going to get more expensive, more difficult to get. And if we continue on this never-ending price rise, seems we're in a real hyperinflationary era right now. How are you protecting yourself? That's the question. How do we all protect ourselves? Because the main thing, you got to eat. You can't not eat. And you have to have oils and butters and fats. Your brain will just stop working. They've done so many peer-reviewed studies on you need the fats and the oils, the lipids inside so your brain can function. That's its fuel. Diesel is what a farm machine needs to get through the fields and send it through the combines out the back. Your brain, fat and oil is its energy source. Speaking of seeds, going to grow some of your own. True Leaf Market, heirloom organic seeds for any grow zone on the planet. That link's in the description box below, along with Perform Light, hydration that stays in. Please support our sponsors. They support this channel. And speaking of that, please remember to subscribe. Click that notification bell, share with friends and family. And if you like this kind of content, cut it up in pieces, share it out in shorts, because it's truly at the point of no return for our food supply. I will see you next time. Bye for now.